Welcome to The Real Estate Show. From buying to selling and everything in between. Rochester's home for everything real estate. And now, your hosts from the Anthony Butera team of Keller Williams Realty, Greater Rochester. It's Anthony Butera and Jason Mancuso.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Real Estate Show. It's episode 90 of The Real Estate Show. Got
90?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a big one.
Man.
Episode 90.
Episode 90 of COVID?
Yeah. Feels like that.
Can't figure it out yet.
Jason, episode 100's like shirts off, so.
We've been saying that, so we have to do it.
I got to start working out then.
Yeah.
It's real hot for episode 100.
I'll do shirt off, but it has to be from like mouth up.
Full beer belly with jersey tan line by then.
So
Yeah,
have you guys heard the news in Greece, New York? They're giving the middle finger to Cuomo, and they're saying that you can eat outside at restaurants. I'm just saying we should all get together. We'll go to Olive Garden. We'll get some lawn chairs, you know.
It's my hometown.
Yeah, let's do it, Greece.
Do live on location.
Live, at the Chili's. But
so that I didn't hear that like got approved. I know they're trying.
Well, it's not. I mean, they're not supposed to do it, but it's a little bit of just like we're going to do it anyways. Only 10 restaurants have applied for it.
Gotcha.
To even be able to do it. I mean, most restaurants don't have the
outdoor dining.
Yeah, the space to do it, and also there's no way chain restaurants are going to do this. You know,
section off the parking lot, get a tent up.
This sounds fun.
Outdoor wedding style.
That's what I want out of my eating experience, to be on a hot parking lot.
Yeah. Good in the restaurant business.
Sharing the pavement with everybody else that's getting fast food. You know those demographics.
Mm-hmm. We don't have the exact start, but Governor Cuomo has said we're going to start phase 2 of reopening, which this is big for this this podcast. That is real estate is in phase 2, and office buildings. So like administrative office at 50% are in phase 2.
Yeah, so this is Friday at 1:30. We're doing this, and as of this morning, they finally released the guidelines as to what that means for our industry and all the other ones as well. I mean, I think the $1 million question that everybody has is, can you show a home? Can you see a home as a buyer? And the answer is now yes. Mm-hmm. So, we're back. To that life as far as getting back to normalcy, but there's all sorts of layers to it that I don't even know that we're ready to talk about, but we'll dive into it. And here's the disclaimer that this very well be a foot in the mouth type of episode if as things progress here in the next minutes, hours, days.
Yeah. So the we're back sentiment is like almost half kidding, because like the guidelines to go back to make it not much different than where we're sitting yesterday, right? So like you talk about staff, Mark, and the protocol to bring them back and how you have to set up the office, because we're talking about that right now, is like, okay, thanks for all that data. Think we'll stay home a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what example, you can't have a shared coffee pot. What do I got to do? Bring in my own friggin' coffee pot now to have by my desk?
Keurig?
Yes.
Maybe a Keurig is good?
I don't know.
Right? That's not a shared pot.
Keurig's good. Yeah, Keurig's good.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I've been stirring the pot with my finger up until this whole thing started.
Well,
by me
you're the one that started coronavirus doing that. Well, I mean, not to say that you shouldn't follow the guidelines, but who's checking the coffee pot?
Yeah.
Who's
yeah,
in?
I mean, here's the thing: we need to operate assuming that they're probably will just. The way things go, there probably will be like whistleblower type audits going around. Mm-hmm. So, we got to take it seriously. I mean, Anthony's got things at the brokerage level with almost 200 people, under that umbrella. Anthony and I, as a company, there's 15 of us. So, this is stuff that we, as much as I don't want to say we don't want to, but we need to take seriously. So there's 13 pages of guidelines that I was sifting through this morning, and it's a lot. I mean, so relevant to what people want to know now. I mean, you can enter a home, you can show a home as an agent. You have to be masked, obviously. I think it's loose interpretation on gloves, I guess.
Have either one of you wore a mask for like an extended period of time?
Maybe like half hour.
Yeah. So like I'm in the middle of like my own personal project of a house, and like just going into Lowe's and like Home Depot and having that thing on, like it's I mean, I get it, I have to do it, like I'm not the person that's resistant to it, but like it's not ideal. So the thought of having to do that while you're in an office setting because there's others around and communicate, like I said,
for 10 hours a day.
Yeah, the rules and practicality are not in the same.
Well, and quick shout out to the essential workers that have been doing this for months, and poor us, right? I mean, it does put it in perspective. I mean, it's just freaking, it's it's wild that this is the world that we live in, but here we are. So I mean, steps towards again normalcy, but I don't think it's going to be like, if Monday's the day or next Friday or whatever. I mean, again, we're filming this now and we don't know what the day is. It was just announced that we're ready for phase 2 and it's been approved by Cuomo, but the news flash that came with it didn't have a specific date. So that could literally be coming at 2:00 today, 15 minutes from now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's announced, but right now we don't. So, I don't think that when that day does come that it's just automatically like, back to normal procedure before COVID, but just with everybody with a mask on. So, again, like we've talked for the last 10 weeks or however long it's been, we're living in a virtual world and we're taking advantage of it. And, I think if the general consumer and, the agent population out there, has the mindset around like how much more efficient your lives are by having virtual capabilities, it goes a long way. I'm not telling you like, hey, you shouldn't be going into a house, period. But like we've said, if you got 10 homes on your list that you want to see and you can see 10 virtual showings and eliminate 7 of them just for one reason or another, why wouldn't you want to take the time to do that?
Yep. And here's how you apply the protection. You're going to want to squeeze the tip. You're going to want to securely fasten it and roll all the way down because it can fall off during activities.
Perfect. That's on your pinky finger.
When you are, I had to make it real.
So, phase 1, we've been through that for a little over 2 weeks, and the rates of infected people and hospitalizations has been going down, so that's good. Phase 2, hopefully we can keep that trend going. Do you see or hope, or what do you think it's going to be with like basically consumer confidence in selling, buying a home? Do you think people go, well, this thing looks like it's starting to dissipate a little bit, maybe I do put the house on the market? Have you seen any of that?
I think the majority are ready at this point. It seems that there's a new sense of urgency because people have waited long enough, and now, I mean, listen, guys, we're into June, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, so now it's like, geez, do we even have the ability to capture that spring/summer market that seems to be very desirable for sellers? And still uncertainty, but I'm starting to see more listings. The last 48 hours has actually been more than the 3 days prior combined. So I think that will speak some to it. But it's so tough to relay the guidelines to sellers, right? Like we're struggling keeping it all together because it's changing. We're trying to change in real time with it. And then like trying to articulate this to sellers, it's like, oh my God, trying to teach a language I don't fully understand, and it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. I mean, moving forward, like I think the easy reaction or the easy assumption on our end is that we're going to have this flooding effect of all these homes that come on the market and all these buyers that come, out of the woodwork that have been waiting for, things to open up, quote unquote. I do think that'll happen. I just wonder if it's going to be as significant as we all thought all along. And that's kind of where the future goes. Like, how big of an impact is this actually having? I mean, without a doubt, we're looking at, just overall, like the number of homes that are bought and sold in 2020 is going to be a significant reduction compared to 2019 and the years before. Is it 10% less, 20% less, up to 50% less? That's what nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
We do know it's going to be less. It's just how much less is the question. So, I mean, I think more so, my opinion is that I think you've been having the conversation as a seller or an agent in the last 10 weeks, or you haven't. And if you have, then you've been told, like, hey, list your house now. It's freaking the craziest seller's market we've ever lived in. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? Or if you haven't had it, you're just making the assumption of like, yeah, why would I do this now during COVID? It makes sense to wait. So, I think we're going to see elements of that, and how it plays out. I guess I'm just not confident in the prediction.
Yeah.
I think more so for buyers, like they're excited just to get back to, okay, I can actually go see a house without, without being forced to make an offer without seeing it if I really want it. So I think there's excitement around that. As an example of how those guidelines read, like just a loose interpretation without diving into it too much yet. I mean, we're supposed to have a questionnaire, a tracking system for every showing of like before a buyer enters a home, do you have COVID? Have you come in contact with anybody? Do you feel sick? That sort of thing. For a buyer and a seller before there is an in-person showing.
Yep.
I know our industry and the peers in our industry, and not to disparage anybody, but I know that's not going to be happening across the board. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But at least we're getting there.
Yeah. But we've been blessed that we've been very busy. We've stayed busy during these times, but
yeah,
as a team, and yet like we've had to adapt, and it hasn't been fun. And like there's been a couple of different approaches, and as much as I have to be sensitive to it as like a broker and overseeing a lot of agents, it's like they've either used the time where if their position is that, we're not leaving the house, if you've been proactive with that time and you've been building your pipeline, then fine, you have a ton of time to recover. As long as you've been working on building that pipeline of business for when this pause is officially over. And then there's been I hate to say majority, but I'd say at least 50% of the take has been like, we're going to use this time to sit home and smoke our pipeline as opposed to build it. They've been doing nothing. And I don't want to be insensitive again, because everyone's like dealt with this in their own way. And we haven't had to adapt anything like this in most of our lifetime. So they didn't know how to respond to it. But a lot of people just packed it in and thrown in the towel. And, the government assistance for many, it's there to fill a void, not create a new income, because there's going to be pain coming from months, right? This pain for agents. I mean, listen, independent contractors, we don't get paid hourly, and we get paid based on our activities. And our activities today won't pay us for another 2.5 months, best case scenario. So if your activities are still non-existent, I hope you're prepared for your income to be non-existent.
Yeah. No, I mean, well said. It's, I think, to the consumer moving forward, I mean, just the shit. Whoa. The shit that we're going to be dealing with from, other agents that have been dealing with just reality in the last 2.5 months that's going to be the frustrating part on our end. But it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I mean, I think, we're moving forward. We've been moving forward one day at a time. We've been able to realize opportunity within this and kind of, like you said, blessed to do the business that we've been doing. And, it's surprising that, from day one when all this started, like if you would have told me this was how it is, I would have told you no way. But it's, it's just good to stay in the game and be able to help people with their goals around, home ownership or properties in general. Now it's we're just, again, day by day, and we'll move forward with a new set of, standards, rules, protocols, whatever you want to call it. It's, it's not going to keep us out of it. And it's not going to keep us from helping people that need help. So.
Cool. Well, we'll try to keep everybody updated with like the phases and the reopening and all that stuff and what you can and can't do. You can check out.
Most importantly, the great outdoor seating restaurant.
Yes. Yeah. Who's opened up for ins? Check out Anthony.
I need some tacos.
And follow us on Facebook, all that good stuff. All right. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys.
Thanks for listening to The Real Estate Show. Find us on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. If you're looking to sell or buy, talk to the Anthony Butera team of Keller Williams Realty, Greater Rochester. Visit AnthonyButeraTeam.com.